All right, let's get right into it. Welcome to this Series 79 Explainer, where we're going to absolutely decode the Securities Act registration process. If you want to survive this exam, you really have to understand the core timeline. So, I want you to think of the entire SEC registration process as a highly regulated foot race. If you jump the gun, you're disqualified. If you run off the track, you're going straight to SEC jail. Once you can accurately place a marketing or selling activity in its correct period of this race, you're going to be able to nail basically any regulatory question they throw at you on test day.
Real quick, this explainer is brought to you by CertFuel. If you're gearing up for the 799, they have this amazing full course with adaptive study quizzes, smart flashcards, and unlimited practice exams that are weighted exactly like the real thing. It's totally what you need to lock these concepts in. Check them out at certfuel.com. Okay, back to the track. So here's our track. The rules split every single public offering into 3 very distinct periods, and the transitions between them are the most critical gates you need to memorize. Point 1 is pre-filing, just stretching, getting ready. Point 2 is the exact moment you file the registration. That is the starter pistol firing. Boom, the race is on. And point 3 is SEC effectiveness. The SEC drops the flag and you just cross the finish line. To make this stick, I want you to meet 2 of our recurring characters. On the left, we've got Ingrid, the issuer. Ingrid is the CEO, she loves her company, she is so pumped for her upcoming IPO, and honestly, she constantly wants to hype her stock to literally anyone who will listen. On the right, we have Blake the banker. He's the underwriter, and Blake is constantly sweating bullets because he knows if Ingrid opens her mouth at the wrong time, he's the one getting dragged into an SEC nightmare. So let's start at period 1, the starting block, better known as the pre-filing quiet period. Before that starter pistol fires, the default rule is total, absolute silence. No selling efforts whatsoever, period. Any offer to sell or buy is strictly prohibited. And listen, this brings us to a massive, screaming exam trap. The pre-filing offer prohibition is about any offer, not just written offers. The definition of offer is so broad. Imagine Ingrid, the issuer, is just grabbing a latte at a crowded coffee shop, and she casually starts bragging to the barista about how her upcoming IBO is going to double everyone's money. It's oral, it's casual, but Blake the banker would literally have to dive across the counter and tackle her to the ground. Why? Because even an oral pitch can condition the market, and that violates the rule. Total silence really means total silence.
Now, there are a couple of safe harbors where you won't get tackled. I need you to burn this number into your brain right now, 30. For a normal company, there is a 30-day pre-filing safe harbor. If they communicate more than 30 days out from filing, they are generally protected. Well, what if it's a WKSI? A well-known, seasoned issuer. They're special. They actually have their own free writing exemption that lets them communicate at any time.
There is one other highly testable exception here. Emerging growth companies, or EGCs, are allowed to test the waters before filing. But Blake has to be super, super careful. This carve-out is narrowly restricted. Ingrid cannot go testing the waters with retail investors on Reddit. No way. She can only test the waters with qualified institutional buyers, QIBs, and institutional accredited investors, IAI. That is it. Keep the audience strictly institutional. So what is the SEC actually looking for? They're hunting for anyone conditioning the market. Conditioning the market means any pre-filing communication that builds buying interest ahead of an offering. The SEC doesn't care if you actually use the word offer. If Ingrid sends out a blast email hinting at a big upcoming deal or drops a slick roadshow preview video on YouTube before filing, she is conditioning the market, and that is a huge violation. Okay, let's do a quick active recall check. Go ahead and pause the explainer if you need a second to think. Can Ingrid do a primetime CEO TV interview highlighting her company's incredible growth and capital plans right before filing the registration statement? The answer is absolutely no. Remember our foot race? The filing is the starter pistol. If Ingrid is hyping the company on national television before the filing, she just sprinted down the track before the pistol even fired. That is classic gun jumping. The SEC sees that timing as highly suspicious because it's obviously designed to generate buying interest. And what actually happens if you jump the gun? Here is another major exam trap. Gun jumping penalties aren't just a slap on the wrist or a fine. They include rescission rights for the buyer. That means a buyer who bought securities in an offering tainted by gun jumping can literally turn around and demand all their money back. Plus, it exposes the company to massive civil liability. It is Blake the banker's absolute worst nightmare.
Moving on to period 2, the sprint, formerly known as the waiting or cooling off period.
Okay, so the starter pistol has fired and the registration statement is filed. Out on the track, the marketing engine is revving up while the SEC is busy reviewing all the paperwork. This side-by-side comparison you're seeing is your master cheat sheet. We just covered pre-filing, right? Before the filing boundary, basically nothing is permitted except those safe harbors. Offers are totally prohibited. Now notice the middle row, the waiting period. The boundary is after filing but before effectiveness. What's permitted? Oral offers. Great. But look at the prohibited column, sales. No one has reached the finish line yet. So while you can offer the security, you absolutely cannot sell it. Let's test this concept really fast. Pause the explainer again. Blake the banker's on the roadshow during the waiting period. A massive institutional account loves the pitch. Can Blake collect a binding check from them right then and there?
Exam trop alert! The answer is no. Do not let the test trick you into thinking roadshow hype equals a sale. Oral offers are totally fine, but oral sales are illegal during the waiting period. Blake can collect indications of interest, sure, but those are non-binding by design. They can be withdrawn anytime before pricing. There are no binding contracts of sale until the registration is fully effective.
So what tools can Blake actually use to signal other runners during the sprints? Well, he's permitted to make oral offers. He can distribute a preliminary prospectus, which you'll hear called the red herring. He can publish tombstone announcements. He can conduct roadshows. And he can use permitted free-writing prospectuses, or FWPs. Anything outside of these specific permitted formats is an illegal written offer.
Finally, we reach period 3, the finish line, the post-effective period.
The SEC has reviewed everything, they drop the flag, and declare the registration effective. The runners just crossed the finish line. I want to put this exact moment in a giant flashing box because it is the single most important exam trap of this entire unit. Sales require effectiveness. Offers require filing. They are two entirely separate gates. The offer gate opened way back when the starter pistol fired at filing. The sale gate only opens right now at the effectiveness finish line. Do not mix those two up.
Now, even though Ingrid and Blake crossed the finish line, the race isn't just a free-for-all. Post-effective rules still apply. Step 1, yes, sales are finally permitted. Awesome. Step 2, but the final prospectus must be filed before the deal can actually settle. And Step 3, all selling efforts must remain consistent with the statutory prospectus. You can't just start making wild, unregulated claims just because the SEC stamped your paper.
All right, let's head into the post-game, a rapid-fire exam recap.
You ran a great race. Now we're shifting into a high-speed review of the most critical, testable takeaways we just covered. Let's cement this retention right now. Number 1, pre-filing equals total silence. Unless you fit in a narrow safe harbor, keep your mouth shut.
Number 2, offers open at filing. The starter pistol fires and Blake can start marketing the deal, but he cannot collect a single dime. Number 3, sales open at effectiveness. This is the finish line. Only now can those indications of interest become binding sales. And finally, I'm going to leave you with this provocative thought. What happens if Ingrid conditions the market before filing? Remember, the SEC doesn't just slap your wrist. The buyers get rescission rights. They can literally demand their money back. If you understand these 3 periods and you don't jump the gun, you are absolutely going to crush this section of the Series 79 exam. Best of luck out there.